Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Don't ask me to talk.
And we're back with another edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder, one of your podcast pals.
I'm the other one. I'm Stacey Heller.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
How are ya?
How's 2025 treating you?
Well, so far so okay.
Good.
I'm not willing to commit to good yet.
All right.
I'm starting with okay. I'm starting with low expectations.
Yes.
Because it can only go up from here. However, after...
Oh, are you sure?
I mean, no.
Okay.
Given that there's like crazy fires happening that are raging.
Right.
And, you know, we're basically a literal
dumpster
fire.
The world outside of the Northwest is either completely frozen over or completely on fire.
Yes.
So it's like hell or hell that's frozen over. Meanwhile, we're enjoying balmy 51 degrees.
I know.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, and we're trying not to gloat, but I am enjoying myself with the weather. Took Gertie for a walk over the weekend to hit the trails, and took a longer walk than she's had in a while, and she did great. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Aw, did Gertie wear
beautiful.
A raincoat?
No, it was sunny.
It was sunny, but I don't know. Like, Gertie's got some cute clothes.
But, you know, the funny thing is that when I was deciding this last weekend, should we hit the trails again? Because we just went on Saturday. I look out back. We have a sliding glass door, so I'm looking out back through that, and it is pouring rain. So I'm like, what? When I looked out the window just a second ago, it was sunny. So I walked to the front of the house, look out the front window, sunshine. I'm like, wait a sec.
On the roof, I heard hail.
So I walked back to the back, pouring rain. Walk back to the front.
So
sunshine.
You are the dividing line.
So, yeah, the clouds had just cleared over our street in the front, but not in our alley. So we were getting hit with rain, and then we're getting that's, you know, the kind of weather that we have around here sometimes.
Totally. That's why I say, like, inhale on the roof, because, like, you know that if there's like sun on one side of the street and rain on the other, then there's a rainbow, there's hail, there might be snow. Like,
it's just rare where the divider is my house.
You were the dividing line.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. So you chose the sunny side of the street.
That's right. We said, well, let's just walk out through the front door instead of the back door, and we'll be fine.
Exactly.
And sure
it's
enough,
just that easy.
We were fine. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
I actually was social this weekend and was busy 3 nights in a row.
Nice.
It was hideous. No, it was fun. We went to a friend's house for dinner, and they are notoriously early to bed folks. And so I even brought them very cute cocktail napkins.
So dinner was like at 4?
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
It would have been, I think, if we could have gotten there earlier. But we got there at 6 o'clock. We were there, I think, until midnight. And, you know, I even brought them like a hostess gift, which I no longer subscribe to the whole
hostess gift or hostess cupcakes.
No, hostess gift. Like, I feel like my parents' generation, our parents' generation, were sort of the same generation. Like, if you went to somebody's house, you brought them like something, the obligatory, like, oh, let me bring you a napkin or flowers or bottle of wine or whatever. We don't do that as much. However, these napkins that I got said, please leave by 9 p.m. And then on the back it said, no, seriously. And that was so perfect for this couple. And so the fact that we were there until midnight, I feel like I jinxed myself. I mean, we had a good time. I finally, at around 11, like went over to their couch and laid down.
They didn't go like, hey,
have a napkin.
Yes, you've got a little something here, so here's a napkin for you, and hand you the flip side.
No.
Oh, okay.
Weirdly, it was the men that were chit-chatting.
Okay.
Like the gals and I, we talk more often, and it was like the guys were like starved for conversation or something, and I was like, TikTok, man, I need my beauty sleep. And then the next night, I was really feeling outside of my element because we were invited to go to kind of the part 2. We were like second tier of our friend's birthday party. He did a more intimate group for dinner and then said, hey, meet at the Bait Shop in Seattle, which is a really fun bar, and come for drinks and to celebrate and toast for my birthday. And so,
do all the drinks have like fun names like
Yeah.
the Nightcrawler and stuff like that?
yes,
Okay.
Nakeder and Afraider.
Okay.
And Teenage Dirtbag. And then the zombie, I think it was the zombie painkiller or something. I don't know.
Okay, so they went with a different theme than the actual name of the bar.
Right.
Weird.
It was
Okay.
That's because I feel like it was a bait and switch.
There you go. It's a bait and switch shop.
So the fact that it started at 9:30 and the guest of honor didn't even arrive until like 10, I was like, what world am I living in? Yeah. And then I had to work on Sunday night. It
All
happens. So
Well, anyway, I'm glad you made it in. You're doing okay. You
did.
survived the weekend.
I did.
And a by the way, 6 minutes into the show,
we haven't even said
I feel like I got to say
hello.
welcome to our listeners.
Oh yeah, hi everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Don't Ask Me to Talk or downloading or however you're finding the show. We definitely appreciate you doing so. If you're joining us for the first time, this is kind of what the show is. We talk about pretty much everything under the sun, whether it's in our lives or in the world, but we try and keep it fun and positive. Take a break from the news for an hour here. And we always say that stuff, of course, is very important. You don't want to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich or something, but
Nope.
sometimes you need a break from that and just a fun conversation. And that's what Don't Ask Me to Talk is all about. And each week we pick a topic randomly, and then on the last segment of the show, we dive into that and have a spirited debate or just a fun convo about it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about sex ed
Right.
and the talk in air quotes.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like we didn't come to any real solid conclusions on that, but it was still a fun convo. And today, tattoos.
Right.
Right.
What do we think about him?
The plane.
Well, yeah, and him. What do we think about him?
I miss that guy.
I know. I'm trying to think of what his name is. I don't know. We're gonna have to look it up. I want to say like it's like Javier or Hector or it's something with an H. I feel like. Are you looking it up?
I am.
I love that. That show was like my parents would leave me home on Saturday nights and I would watch Love Boat and then Fantasy Island. And that show got a little scary sometimes. That's what we're talking about, by the way, the character tattoo from Fantasy Island.
Right.
So if you're our age and older, you totally know what we're talking about. If you're younger, you're like, what is it they're talking about? That's what we're talking about.
That's right. It ran for 5 years, from 77 to 83, which was prime trash viewing time, I think, for both of us.
Totally.
Yes, growing up.
Totally.
Hervé Villechaize?
Oh, yes.
Something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew it was like Hector or Hervé, so Hervé
Yeah.
makes sense. And
Oh, I didn't know he was born in Paris, France.
what?
Yeah. I
Interesting.
always thought he was like Hispanic.
I did too.
Huh.
Maybe because he played somebody who, I don't know. This is murky territory.
Yeah, it really
I
is.
feel like
yeah.
I have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
Huh.
He was French.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I guess one of his parents was Italian, so
Okay.
French-Italian.
And
Wow.
he co-starred with Ricardo Montalban,
That's right. Maybe.
who was Latino.
I don't know.
I'm like,
He was
there's
God.
so much to uncover with this. Such a multicultural program.
Right?
Anyway, so
Who knew?
so we've already started talking about tattoo.
Yes.
But
But I think we'll get into the other kinds of tattoos in that last segment. So
yes, for sure.
stay tuned. It'll be riveting.
Fascinating. Hey, if you want to hear more continued riveting conversation, by the way, you can actually find past episodes of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's say you have a point of view, like you want to share a show that you watched when you were younger, or you have a story to tell. You can actually do that by texting or leaving a voicemail for us at 475-999-2726. Or you can also email.
Email us at asking@don'taskmetotalk.com.
Yes. So there you go.
Or find us on the social medias and slide into our DMs. We're on Instagram and Facebook. We're going to probably try this year to expand to a non-meta social media as well at some point.
Yes. Goals, right?
But, I mean, that's hard to do because they own everything.
It is kind of hard to do.
But we'll do it.
But speaking of goals, we actually talked about resolutions and stuff last week, and I was
That's
saying
right, yeah.
that I occasionally...
And I'm continuing to brush and floss.
Yeah?
Yes.
Nice. I thought of you when I went to the store this week to get more dental floss for my floss pick thing, and I thought of you and your water pick that you don't use.
Yeah, I gotta dig that out.
And
Rinse off the dust.
I actually cracked a tooth.
Ruh-roh.
Yep. That happened this week, so I've got to get into the dentist and get that taken care of. So I may be crowned yet again. I'm like, seriously?
You're the queen.
Thank you. Slay. I feel like we jinxed me talking about your dental habits.
Sure, that's how it works.
It's totally how it works. But we did talk about resolutions and stuff for the new year.
The mystical arts of dentistry.
Well, I mean, ask Herbie. What was his name? Herbie, the misfit toy that wanted to be a dentist?
He was an elf.
Yeah, that wanted to be a dentist.
You said he was a misfit toy.
Well, I mean, isn't an elf a toy? Elf on the shelf.
Okay.
I don't know.
From Rudolph.
Right. Anyways, once again, so far gone from the original point. I came up with my word of the year.
I feel like, do we need a drum roll for this?
I mean, sure. Movement.
Movement. All right.
Now, not like...
Let's try and get some in 2025.
Well, and it's not just like physical movement. It's like moving things off my plate, like getting rid of things. Better...
Wait a sec. If I remember correctly, and it's entirely possible that I don't, because every time that we start this show, my memory gets wiped.
Yeah.
It's like just a procedure to make this
Wait, are
less
you my
painful.
husband?
But I feel like you said that you come to a conclusion on what the word of the year is at the end of the year.
No, you suggested that.
No, you said.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
I said I come up with a word of the year, and you said, like, oh, at the end of the year, like, how would you know what your word of the year is?
Right.
And I was like, all right, whatever, Eric.
Okay. All right. So you're saying you're making this your goal word.
I am making it my intention. Because goal feels too concrete. Intention feels like it's what I intend to do. It may not be where I land.
Okay. And how is that different from a goal?
Because.
Okay.
Because I feel like a goal comes from a place of outside pressure, where intention feels like a place of inside presence. How am I doing?
I think we need to get a linguist in here to make a ruling. But
thank you. Call me Twisted Sister, because I am twisted it.
Fair enough.
So movement is my word. It's my goal. It's
All
my
right.
intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking really every iteration of the word. Like, yes, physical movement, because I've been way too sedentary, and for sure am feeling that in how I feel, how I look. But then, like, thinking about, like, I'm going deep here for a minute. During therapy this week, we talked about all of these, like, constructs that I've built about who I am, the roles that I play, the hats that I wear. And I'm ready for them to fall like a house of cards and move through them. And so that kind of movement, actual movement, like going to my lake house or going away on vacation. So, you know, gut health, a bowel movement, dare I say it, like improving all things movement and embracing it. So,
Okay. Very good.
so that's my word of the year.
That just reminds me of, you ever have like a line stick in your head from like some obscure source, but it's there always when you hear a certain word?
Yes. I'm waiting.
Well, there was a show that Matt Frewer was in, and if people don't know Matt Frewer, he was the guy that played Max Headroom.
Oh, yes.
And he's been in a lot of movies and TV shows. He was in a TV show, a short-lived TV show that I can't even remember the name of, where he played a dad. And I think it was on the debut episode of that. He comes downstairs and he says, "I just had a movement Beethoven would be proud of." And so now when I hear movement, I can't help but think of that. So
I want to make Beethoven proud this year.
Right. So you going there especially made me think of that. But
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yes. So this year
unfortunately, the rest of the show wasn't as good as that, which is why it didn't hang around for too long.
You know, not all of us can compose an amazing piece.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to be Beethoven in my life this year and compose something artful. And so sometimes it's moving through, sometimes it's moving past, sometimes it's just literal moving. So yeah,
Very
that's my
good.
word.
All right.
So
Cool.
I've been working on some kind of movement every day. And I figure worst case scenario, if I have a bowel movement, I can still check the box.
Hey, we're only a couple weeks in and we're already making progress, right?
Right? Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I also had last week after we recorded, I went and I saw A Complete Unknown, the movie, the biopic that is about Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, yeah. This is like the third Bob Dylan biopic that's out there, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen the others, but I saw this one and it was really good. I really didn't know much about it other than the fact that Elle Fanning and Timothée Chalamet are in it. And I guess this is kind of loosely based on Bob Dylan. It's kind of presupposes that, like, you know, it starts and there's a scene that has him and Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger all in the same room. That never happened. However, the three did connect through each other. So it kind of lumps some things with true intention behind them.
Sure.
Anyway, Timothée Chalamet did all the singing for it, and he did a great job. I was actually super impressed. Felt compelled enough to sit around for the credits to be like, did he really sing those songs? And yes, in fact, he really did. And it just sort of reawoke.
Well, he sang all the songs in Wonka.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, you know, he's already shown he can
Sing.
do that. Yeah.
But, you know, still, it was like...
Bob Dylan has yet to show that, but...
Which is maybe why Timothée Chalamet did such a good job.
Right.
I mean, I could probably sing like a Bob Dylan song and, like, you know...
Yeah.
It ain't you, babe. So it was really quite good. And then it made Pete and I think about, like, you know, he's like, did your parents listen to folk? Because really that was more their generation, and my parents did.
But Bob Dylan was a crossover artist.
For
in
sure.
That, I mean, it wasn't just hardcore folkies into him like, say, Pete Seeger maybe. He definitely reached out into the rock and roll world. Yeah. And, of course, there famously people were up in arms about him crossing over into the rock and roll world, but he, played with an electric guitar
at the Newport,
and someone shouted out, "Judas!"
Yes,
like imagine being that upset
about like that's the hill you're gonna die on.
Yeah, exactly. Amplification.
What?
Good Lord.
Yes. So, I mean, it was so interesting. So I went into work and I shared with my coworkers that I had gone to see this movie. Because, I'm trying to seem like hip, happening now, up with the scene. And
I'm hip. I can dig it. Ducka, ducka, ducka.
Exactly. And it went like that, like a lead balloon, as one of my coworkers is 21, just 21, I might add. And she was like, "Who's Bob Dylan again?" And I was like, it was the Looney Tunes moment where the eyes get really big and like shoot out of the head, like, "What?" And she had no idea. So then I mentioned some of his catalog, like, come on, Blow It in the Wind, like, come on, Mr. Tambourine Man, all these things. She's like, "Nope." Then I played the songs for her. Nope. So 3 times denied. And so that just got me I'm like, are you kidding me now?
Well, so you mentioned this before the show, and I said, how old was this woman?
21. Just okay. 21.
21. So when you think about the fact that she was born either 2023 or 2024, it starts to make more sense.
I mean, 2004 or 2003. She wasn't born in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. She was born yesterday, literally.
I'm like, what, were you born yesterday?
No, she was born
yes.
2004 or 2003.
Right.
So then it starts to make a little more sense because Bob Dylan has been a big influence, a big shadow on the culture for a long, long time. But you could make an argument that for
not during her lifespan.
for her lifespan, especially when she would have been getting into music or whatever. So, I can understand that.
And you made a very compelling argument. And yes. And also, I reiterate what I said last week, which is, I guess I'm entering my cranky old lady stage because I'm like, how do you not know who Bob Dylan is?
Right.
Like, even for the culture to not know. And, when I hear kids talking and like they can't name a Beatles song or something, I'm like, what is happening? Now, you did make a point that, that is one person and that you can't paint with a wide brush. It doesn't mean that an entire generation doesn't know who this person is. They just haven't been exposed to them. That's how I translated what you said.
Okay.
Because it's not what you said. That is 100% my words. But I translated you to...
You're having conversations in your head.
Well, yes, we know that.
Where I'm playing a part I had no idea about.
And then Eric said...
Consent is key.
And then Eric said,
if I'm going to take part in a conversation, I want to sign off on it.
Well, but didn't you basically say, if the person wasn't exposed to that...
Right.
That,
Yeah, I didn't say the
doesn't mean they're dead to a generation. It
Sure.
means that they're not alive for them.
Right. I don't think it's a matter they're dead or alive. It's they're relevant to this person.
Look, you're just being far more patient than I am with this. It's just unfathomable.
But it
to
does
me.
make me wonder if she knows the Beatles or Elvis or Little Richard or Chuck Berry, or any of those people that were
I would guess,
huge
yes.
music icons from before 2000.
I'm going to ask her just as a test, and I'll report back. I feel like my guess would be the answer would be Beatles, yes. Elvis, yes. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, those kinds of references, no, would be my guess. Because I don't think that in the, Elvis, people still dress up like Elvis, and, that kind of thing is still in popular culture where you see Elvis, and I feel like the Beatles have still stayed somewhat
Right.
like to your point about Bob Dylan, like Bob Dylan hasn't had a hit since, like 80s, maybe 90s.
Yeah.
And so has been sort of out of pop culture consciousness for a long time.
Right.
Whereas, you still see like people go to the chapel and get married by an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah.
And, Beatles, like Paul McCartney, God bless him. Like he's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going. But Chuck Berry and Little Richard, like, no, I don't think people really know what their place is in the musical lexicon.
Because for me, it would be like when I was growing up, if somebody said, say I was 21 and somebody said, do you know Benny Goodman? Did you see that movie about Benny Goodman?
Yeah, the Benny Goodman Orchestra.
Right. Or did you see that the Bing Crosby story that's out now? You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like they were huge cultural icons.
Right, in like the 40s.
Yeah, exactly. And they, but still, their influence lingered into the culture for a long, long time and still is there, but it just becomes diminished over time. So, I would have certainly known Bing Crosby and Benny Goodman at 21, but I'm more interested in music or whatever, whereas these kids today.
This is my point.
There's stuff like video games and streaming,
yes, you did make that
TikToks
point.
and whatnots is a bigger thing for them than music, or even if they know the music, knowing who makes the music is less of a thing for, kids these days. So, I get it, but, it's just differences that evolve in time and generations, I guess.
Totally. And, I'm like, look, go ahead and teach me something. Like, look, I don't know everything. And like, let me listen to your ratchet music and your hip hop and like, bring me your espresso and your pop and all this stuff. Like, I'll listen to it and see, like,
I mentioned, you said you saw what's the name of the Bob Dylan movie?
A Complete Unknown.
A Complete Unknown, right. And I said, well, I went and saw Nosferatu. And you said, what now?
No, what I immediately said was, bless you.
That's right. But also, what are you talking about?
What? I still don't know what
Nosferatu?
That is. I don't even know how to spell it to look it up. Like, I was able to figure out, like, nudicles, but
right.
But I don't know.
But how could you have never heard of Nosferatu? So
is he an Indian leader?
No, he's a vampire. So Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, is one of the most famous silent movies of all time, released in 1922, and it's had a huge influence on filmmakers since 1922. And in 2024, a brand new version of Nosferatu was made by Dave Eggers, and it's been a big hit in the movie theaters right now. So it's just surprising to me that you don't know.
Well, as we've learned
or ever heard of Nosferatu. It's basically the Dracula story that it was adapted by a German filmmaker who didn't want to pay royalties to Bram Stoker. So he changed some of the stuff, but it became its own distinct thing, but not distinct enough that the courts said that you could have this movie out. They ordered it basically to be destroyed. But it wasn't ever really destroyed, and it became like this, cult favorite, yeah, that filmmakers have looked back on quite extensively. And still to this day, there's lots of performances of the silent movie with live orchestras and stuff doing the score for it. So it's still, it's just one of those big cultural things that I was surprised you didn't know, much like this young lady didn't know Bob Dylan, Nosferatu.
Nope, definitely not. Like a blind spot
one of those things, yeah.
Culturally for me is, as we've learned from when we were talking around movies, zombie movies and that kind of thing around Halloween.
Right.
Like zombie movies and like scary movies and that kind of thing. Like I'm like, what? Huh? So, nope. definitely thought it was like Netanyahu.
Okay. Well, that goes deeper into some of the criticisms of Nosferatu that I wanted to dig into, but my observation that he looks silly with a mustache is just going to completely have no meaning or resonance for you.
I think Timothée Chalamet looks silly with a mustache.
Count Orlok with a mustache. I know, before you write in, let me just say this. I know what they were going for, that yes, he is historically more accurate to have that mustache. But
this is the thing you think people are going to write in about?
It looks silly to me, and it takes me right out of the movie when I see Count Orlok with a mustache. That's all I'm saying. And also, I felt like this movie, while compelling, while good, it was very much just sticking to the story of the original film, except for adding some vampire wang in it that I don't think we needed. So, but you tell me, if you out there have seen Nosferatu, what you thought about it, either version.
Okay. Well, I'm fascinated that this is the thing that you think is going to get people to write in. But it might be.
If they're not going to write in about vampire wang, then I don't know what they will write in about. So.
Oh, man. About this next smart generation. They're so with it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they just know stuff, don't they? They're so smart. Didn't you have a meatball story?
That's what you're prompting?
That's what I'm prompting. Like,
yeah. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I can relate the meatball story.
All right, fine. All right, keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'll be right back. We'll be less cranky, probably. Not. Yeah. Hey, I'm Stacey Heller. I'm one of your podcast pals, along with Eric Ryder from Don't Ask Me to Talk. Are you liking what you're listening to? Awesome. We would love if you would follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram as Don't Ask Me to Talk. We also are wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can follow us, subscribe, like, rate, whatever it is that you do. You can also email us. That's asking@don'taskmetotalk.com. And if you'd like, text or leave us a voicemail at 475-999-2726. Basically, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. Don't ask me to talk.
And we're back right here. Don't Ask Me to Talk, a kind of a punchy January edition of the show. I think we're both recovering still from the holidays.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm telling you, I like God bless Taylor Swift for introducing the concept of eras. Like, I mean, we've always had them, but it's like, you know, just these moments in like ages or stages that you go through. And I'm definitely in my like WTF era. And so I am trying to be teachable. I'm ready.
That's a hugely successful podcast. So, hey, if we can have a WTF era, I'm down for it.
Right? Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Hey, let's make sure that we hashtag WTF. But anyway.
Maybe I can start doing some guitar noodling as well.
Yes.
Mark Maron, we love you. Come on the show.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. All of that. Yeah. So all of that to say, you know, there's just these things that are making me feel punchy, and you shared a story with me.
Yes, yeah. For the show, you were talking about your disbelief over the Bob Dylan thing. That this coworker had no idea who Bob Dylan was. I get it. I had a moment, kind of a head-slapping moment at the grocery store the other day where I bought a couple packages of meatballs for our vegan friends. Let's say they're meatless meatballs, because I also buy those sometimes.
Okay.
So just imagine whichever you prefer, depending on your preferences.
Yep.
Okay. So a couple packages of meatballs that were on sale. and they're the same brand. There are just a couple different varieties. One had mozzarella in it, I think. So they're bringing this up at the register for me, and the guy, the checker says, "Are these the same meatballs?" I say yes, because they're the same brand, same weight, same price, same sale. And I said, yeah. And then he's like, oh, wait, one of these has more meatballs. And I say, yeah, they're both 16 ounces. He's thinking that like, oh, I got the larger one. And, and he's like, oh, well, they're the same price, surprisingly. And I'm like, yeah, they're both 16 ounces. He's like, huh. They're kind of ripping people off here because one of these has 6 more meatballs in it. I'm like, they're both 16 ounces. Yes. One just has bigger meatballs. One has smaller meatballs based on the variety of what you're going to use them for. But so it's that old, what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of lead? Yeah, they're the same weight.
It's the
Spoiler.
same weight.
Yeah. So
Pounds,
I was like, okay, sure, sir.
Well, and it's those moments where it's also a reminder, though, because
and bless him, because I certainly had brain fart kind of moments in my life, especially after a long day at work.
I was just gonna say, like, I
you gotta have grace.
Don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that my coworker, because they're young, is in any way like dumb or uncultured or anything. It's just like, it's a funny thing. Like, you get to a certain age and you're just like, what? And it's truly like, it's not you, it's me. And, just the depth and breadth of life experience that you have, and, the things that you think about and like what comes out. I mean, it sort of makes you chuckle. And, it's like, of course people would know. I mean, like, if this coworker said to me, like, do you know who Sexy Red is? I'm like, are you talking about me? And no, there's a musician out there called Sexy Red with 2 Y's, I think.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know who that. Like, I literally just learned that this person exists this weekend.
Did Mick Hucknall have a glow up?
Right? Right? Exactly.
Once upon a time, he was simply red.
But now
he's sexy red.
Sexy red. Exactly. I mean, honestly, I was like, when my daughter mentioned Sexy Red, I was like, stop. And she's like, no, the musician. And I'm like, that's Simply Red. Like, in my head, I literally was like, what? So, yes, I went to the same place that you did. But that's the point. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that, like, I have no idea what people are talking about. And I'm like, and the difference is...
Like Nosferatu, for instance.
Like Nosferatu. Like Netanyahu. Nostradamus. I don't know. All of those. So, yeah. So, by the way, like, there is no shade thrown here. Like, there is plenty that I have cultural blinders on about. And I stick by it. I do have to share this. I think I have talked about John Mulaney on the show several times, how much as a family we love his specials and the whole thing. Well, for the holidays, we gave Grace tickets to a show that is out on Broadway right now, called All In, and written by somebody that is telling short stories about love, and he has famous people on the stage sitting in chairs retelling these stories. Well, John Mulaney had a 2-week run of the show, and Grace went to see the show, and she waited at the stage door, and he was lovely after. And she was just so excited, and it's so fun. I love that she's not cranky and old like I am, because she's willing to go to the stage door and like tell the people that are telling, like, anytime she goes to a show like that, she's like, we got to go to the stage door. We got to tell them how much we loved it and whatever. And so she did. And she's like, oh, he was so nice and he was so much cuter in person. But like, what a fun thing to do. Like, so, hey, everybody, like, get out there and support the arts, like, especially live arts. It's such a fun thing to do. And it like rejuvenates and like excites you all over again. So whether it's a movie, which isn't really live arts, or I don't know, a show that Eric is in or theater or whatever it is. Like, it just sort of restores your excitement and faith in the arts. The future Bob Dylan's.
All right. Well said.
I don't know why I said it, but I felt the need to. Okay. Well, we normally talk about important things that are happening during the month, like polka music.
Is that happening in this month?
It is. Yeah. January, a month-long observation, is a celebration of polka music.
All right.
So I feel like we should be hearing more from Weird Al right now.
We're talking about cultural blind spots, but as far as polka goes, my knowledge of starts and ends with Weird Al Yankovic. But there's a whole vast world.
Don't forget about from the movie Home Alone.
Yes.
And the John Candy.
John Candy is playing that, yes.
Yep.
And, of course, in Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
Ned.
a big polka
Yep. I think his name is
scene.
Yeah. So,
So
there's you and I share
Yes.
3 touchstones for polka.
That's right. Yeah. And not much else.
No, but you know what? If we hadn't brought it up, would we have observed it?
Probably not.
Right. So look at us. We're observing it. Yeah, whatever. And then the other thing that's happening this month, which feels like a regional thing, is a month-long celebration of apples and apricots, which that makes me think of the applets and cotlets.
Right.
Which is gross.
I disagree.
You like that?
Absolutely.
That
it's
chewy,
just dried
fruity
fruit.
stuff?
It's delicious.
Oh, no. It's like Turkish Delight or whatever that stuff is.
Love that too.
Oh, golly. I remember reading Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, and like the character had like a deep affection for and weakness when it came to Turkish Delight. And then when I looked up what Turkish Delight was, back in the encyclopedia, like you did back in the 80s, and I was like, ew, really? That's your Achilles heel? Turkish Delight. The witch offers you a bunch of Turkish Delight and you fold like a house of cards.
Maybe it was just hungry.
Maybe. I'm like, I think I'd go hungry.
Okay. So you don't like dried fruit?
I don't. And we
See?
have already determined that I have the eating habits and taste buds of a 7-year-old.
But for folks outside of Washington, there is a company called Liberty Orchards that famously makes a candy called applets and cotlets, which are apple and walnut and apricot and walnut candies. And it's like soft dried fruit. I think they're delicious. They're covered in powdered sugar. But it has a reputation of being like kind of an old people candy.
Like Werther's, but softer.
Right, yeah. But they actually went out of business briefly, and then another company bought it and brought the applets and cotlets back and a whole bunch of actually other varieties. And I got to say, I love them. So, hey, Liberty Orchards, if you're listening, please
Hey,
send them our way.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I will learn to love you if you would like to sponsor this show. And truth be told, I've never really eaten a whole piece.
Holy smokes. And they make a Turkish Delight.
Of course they do.
Oh, I'm going to have to look for this. I'm going to try this.
Actually, funny that you say that. I'm pretty sure that where they're based, their home offices, is in Kashmir. And I think that Kashmir is on the way to where our lake house is, which we're going to our lake house next weekend. So maybe I'll have to stop in Kashmir and see if I can stop in at the applets and cotlets store. And I'll talk to whomever is in charge and say, have we got a podcast for you?
Sure. I mean, it looks like there's some good stuff here. It's like orange, peach, pistachio, and walnut and almond. I mean, I love all those flavors. And then rose. I think rose is the one that gets the bad rap because it's rose water flavored. And that's a little bit, that's an acquired taste.
Yes.
For sure, for a candy. But I still think it's good.
I did just read, though, that Liberty has actually decreased the amount of rose flavor in their product due to negative comments.
Interesting. Okay.
And so, and I also learned that the difference between applets and cotlets and Turkish Delight is Apples and Kotlets has the apples and apricots, obviously, and Turkish Delight is fruit, honey, and walnuts. So Applets and Kotlets doesn't have
all
the
great
nuts.
things.
Ugh.
Apples and Kotlets does have nuts. They have walnuts.
Yeah, but this says it doesn't.
But it does.
Okay.
And they're also, I don't know if this has turned into a commercial for Liberty Orchards, unpaid, but they came out with like some bars versions of it recently that I had, which were fantastic. So, yeah, please send us some.
Well, and apparently it was invented in Washington State by Armenian immigrants. And so, because like it's obviously Turkish Delight is from Turkey.
Right.
And so
presumably, but French fries aren't from France, so who knows?
It says here on the internet, so it must be true. Gosh, don't you know, Eric?
Does it say that Turkish Delight comes from Turkey?
Yes, Turkish Delight originated in Turkey.
Okay, fair enough.
So there it is.
I thought you were just making that leap based on the name, because I can say sometimes names can be misleading.
Yeah, and the
like French fries, for instance.
Well, right. Yes.
They come from Belgium.
Versus Freedom fries.
Right. Those come from Freedom.
Well, there you go. So you have learned so much. And you know what? Hey, Liberty Orchards, change my mind. Go ahead. And have we ever thought about dipping these suckers in chocolate?
Oh, that's something.
I'm just saying we could expand. And there's a lot of chocolate people, like, for instance, Boems, that's based in Issaquah, Washington. And you could have a little crossover episode.
Speaking of that, did you ever have that chocolate wine? I can't remember. It's a Washington winery that makes it. I think it's the Chocolate Shop is the name that makes it. It's actually really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, consistency of wine tastes like chocolate? Like, what's really?
Yes.
Because I'm like, isn't that just hot chocolate?
No. It's wine with chocolate flavor.
And does it have alcohol content?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's wine.
What?
With chocolate flavor.
I know that there's chocolate pasta, and you can get it when you visit Pike Place Market. That's the pasta that they're always willing to hand out to people to, like, here, try the pasta. They made a chocolate pasta, which, you know, I'm like, I don't know what you'd like. Okay, so you cook it, and then what do you put on it? But anyway, I digress. Chocolate wine. Fascinating.
Yeah.
All right.
Give it a try next time you see it. It's
hey,
good.
Liberty Orchards, let's talk. We have some ideas for you.
But the chocolate wine's made by the Chocolate Shop, not
right, but that's
Liberty
different.
Orchards. But yeah.
But I think for Liberty Orchards to do a crossover with some chocolate,
I'm down for that.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. Or the yogurt coating is always good too.
Oh, look at us. Gosh, we're going to send this episode to them.
They might have already done both of these things and they didn't succeed. I don't know. But
all right. Well,
yeah.
It's worth checking it out anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're due for a break because we got to get into our topic.
Yes, there's so much to talk about with tattoos.
That's right.
We have to go through my whole sleeve to talk about every single one that I have.
Yes.
Oof. All right. Keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'll be right back.
This is Eric Ryder. If you like alternative rock, indie, post-punk, art rock, or whatever you want to call it, you may like the band Battersea. Our debut album, Shooting Day for Night, is out now, and you can find it at batterseatheband.bandcamp.com or most places you stream music, like Spotify, YouTube, etc. That's Battersea, BATTERSEA, theband.bandcamp.com. And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder.
I'm Stacey Heller.
Thanks for sticking with us, and we are into the meat of it.
Yeah.
The topic of the week as chosen by the Wheel o' Topics, but the topics on the wheel are put there by Stacey. So, Stacey, what were you thinking with this topic?
Well, I was reflecting on my sleeve, my tattoo sleeve that I have, and that is sarcasm because I have one tattoo. It is on my arm, and my kids, 3 of the 4 have all gotten tattoos, some more than others and whatever. And just generally, like when I was growing up, tattoos were like, you did not get a tattoo.
You
like,
were a sailor.
You were a sailor or
right.
you were
Or a convict.
woman of the night. And, you know, like my dad, before he...
Or you worked in a carnival.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was people on the edges.
On the
of
fringe.
the fringe of society.
Exactly.
That got tattoos. But yeah, it is a generational thing because now it feels like you're the weirdo if you don't have a
one.
tattoo.
Totally. I
Yeah.
mean, they're everywhere. I mean, I grew up and my dad, before he died, was like, no tattoos. And like, now I have one and my kids all have one and like, whatever. So it's just, it's different. So I just was like, it can be polarizing by generation or just aesthetic and whatever. And so what are our thoughts on tattoos? Clearly, my view has changed. What I realized is that I was ambivalent about tattoos. Like I always thought that, you know, I wouldn't have one, but I would speculate like, if I got a tattoo, like what would I get? And then it came up with my daughter Annie, and she's got a whole bunch. And you know, she said something about getting a tattoo, and I said, well, I would get a tattoo with you. And so I designed a tattoo that has a little bean, and growing out of it is the word beans, which ironically is the nickname that my dad had for me. So it was sort of to honor my dad and me and growth and blah, blah, blah. And then 3 of the 4 kids got bean sprouts in the same location. And so there's sort of a connection there. And I can see how they quickly become addictive, though, because it didn't hurt. It was small, it's delicate, and it's like deeply personal to you. And it's like the equivalent of like it's like a charm bracelet. You know, like you have these charms that you collect for various times, incidents, experiences, travels. And, you know, a tattoo, it's sort of the same vibe. And now they're not just the big ones that say like, Mom. Like now there's all of these stick and poke and tiny ones. And, you know, there's a lot more creativity and artistry, it seems.
Okay. So, yeah, you are 100% that this is a generational thing. And it is interesting, one of these like trends that just took over the world. Whereas like when we were growing up, you're right. Not that many people had tattoos. And then I feel like when the tramp stamp came about, after that, like the floodgates opened. You know, it was like
weirdly, it didn't close the door; it opened the door.
Yeah, exactly. Even though tramp stamps have fallen out of favor,
totally, with your whale tail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that was like early 2000s. I want to say when once you get that demographic of young white women that want to put a tattoo above their butt. You know, I guess everybody's on board at that point. Yeah,
yep,
maybe like, that's the last, like the finger in the dam or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, for me, I never had a desire for a tattoo, purely aesthetic reasons. I think tattoos are ugly, but my position has softened a little bit, and namely because my girlfriend has tattoos, so I learned to accept those tattoos. Luckily, she doesn't have a lot, because I still think you can get a T-shirt with anything on it, and you can take that off whenever you want.
Right.
Tattoos, it's there all times, and
yeah,
let's face it, you know, I don't care if it's the Mona Lisa. At a certain point, you get sick of looking at anything. And most tattoos are not the Leonardo da Vinci quality of art. So personally, I've never wanted one. But you know, everybody's body is their own. It's their choice. If they really feel like, hey, this is a good idea, then you know, it's your body. You do what you like. But it is something that's there permanently. Unless you pay a lot of money to get it lasered off.
Right.
And even then, it's like, well, now you got scar tissue where once upon a time you didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why pay money to be in pain and, you know, cause skin damage? I just never got it. But more power to you if that's your thing.
I totally get it. I mean, and I picked mine is basically like at the kind of the crease of where your arm folds, or like inside elbow. I don't know how to describe. And so usually my arm is actually bent. Like it's rare that I walk around with straight arms. And so you don't really. So even if I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, you don't necessarily see it.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I'm trying to hide it. It's just that while I'm ambivalent about it and I'm more open to it, I also agree that, I don't necessarily love. Like I've genuinely had to mourn the loss of like someday if Annie chooses to get married and wear a white dress and be traditional in that sense, like if she's got wearing sleeveless and it's like, there's the tattoos. And, I'm like, oh man, it just kind of ruins the vibe. But also like, like, am I expecting her to be virginal and pure and like everything is like what it is? Like, if she thinks she looks beautiful on that day, that's really all that matters.
And then she will.
And she will.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. So like, I know that intellectually, but
Right.
then I still have my moments of like,
Aesthetically, it's still not pleasing to you. And I absolutely am on board with that also, but also like, you do you kind of attitude about it. But
and I'm always curious about them. Like I do love in the same way that a charm bracelet has these conversational jumping off points. I do love that people have such deep stories attached to the tattoos and the times, and they can just like immediately.
And in my experience, they don't want to be asked about it, which I don't understand.
Well, I guess it's deeply personal, or it was a moment. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on tattoos.
I think I've said mine.
There you go. Well, that was short.
Well, we're out of time anyway.
Oh, that's perfect. So we have to figure out what we're going to talk about next time.
Let's find out.
All right, I'm ready.
And it's another one that we've done. So let's say this one. College posters.
Ah, okay. How did we decorate our dorm rooms?
Well, I never had a dorm, so couldn't tell you. But I did have posters at one point.
All right, so we're going to talk about posters.
That sounds good.
All right, so in the meantime, have a great week, and don't forget to forget what we're talking about.
Thanks for listening, everybody.